Hello everyone, my name is Carlie Hamilton and today I've got a scrapbook process video for you. It is for the Scrap Your Scraps creative team, which I'm really excited to be a part of. So for my layout, I am going to be doing mist sprays 3 ways. So I'm going to be doing 3 different misting spray techniques on this layout, and some of them I haven't tried before, so I wanted to give it a go. So I was just showing you some of the sprays that I have and some of the papers that I've chosen to do on this layout. So the first technique I'm going to be doing, a lot of people use masks to spray on. So you get your stencils and you use masks in order to create shapes with your mist spray. I'm going to do the opposite of that and do a negative effect with it. So first, I know that I want my effect to go under my photo, and also off to the side there I want another little cluster. So that's where I've just sprayed. I put down some bubble wrap that I had just laying on the floor next to me, thinking that it might protect my desk a little bit more, but it didn't. Spray got everywhere. The thing I love about this misting spray is it is really easy just to wipe off, so I don't even bother trying to put anything down on my desk anymore. I just wipe it clear. I also don't have a heat gun, so I had to let it dry naturally. Now, to create the negative effect, what I'm actually going to do is put some modeling paste over the top of it, and that's my modeling paste there. Mine's called Impasto Medium. You might have embossing gel, molding paste. It comes in many names, and I'm just going to put it over the top of where I have sprayed. One thing I do wish that I had done with this layout, but didn't do, was I wish that I'd mixed it in with a bit of white paint just to create a much more defined negative look that I was going for. My molding paste, it dries clear, so you can see straight through it to the spray, which is great. I love that it's clear because I can use it in so many things. But in this case, I think I wanted it to be a bit more opaque, and I didn't think to do it. So you can see I used just some washi tape to hold down my stencil, and that's a really great way to stop your stencil from moving around. Because washi tape is so low tack, it's really easy to just pull it off. And I also keep some baby wipes. I've got some super cheap ones. They don't do a good job of cleaning much, but they are good enough for my scrapbooking. So they're really good for cleaning up the desk. So as you can see here, I've got my modeling paste on the top of my mist sprays, and now I'm just going to, because I don't have a heat gun, I'm going to leave it to dry for a couple of hours. So you can see here, it's all dry now, and I'm trying to show you that it's a little bit raised. So I hope you can see that there. And now I'm going to move on to my second technique, which is to use it as splattering. And I know that this is already a really common technique that a lot of people use, but my tip is to use 2 colors, splatter with 2 different colors. This just adds a little bit more depth to the background of the page, and the 2 colors can be super opposites, which is a great effect, or they can be really similar, and that's what I've done here. I've used the Mr. Huey's in Seafoam, and that gives a matte effect, and the other one I've used is Heidi Swap in Mint, and that has a really beautiful shimmer on it. So the effect is that once it's dry, it's a really subtle effect, but it does add a whole new depth and dimension to your page. So now I'm going to move on to the third technique, which is instead of using your inks to ink the edges of your photos and your layers, use your misting spray to go around the edges. So here I'm using just a paintbrush to go around the edges lightly, and I quite like that you can either put it on with a lot of color or just a little a light bit of color. So once placing that down the page, I felt like it needed another mat around it. So I used a scrap piece of paper that I had and made that into a second mat for the photo. And after I stick that down, I am going to get out my box, which is full of a whole heap of scraps and things like that in it. And by things like that, I mean entirely scraps. And I'm going to just pull out colors that I think match this page. And I'm going to start adding more layers to my page. So I really wanted to have photo corners on this one. And again, I used my paintbrush to create an inked edge effect with it. I'm using my Heidi Swap so that it has a bit of a shimmer in it as well. And for these corners, I wanted it to be quite heavy, and I wanted pretty much just sort of the green showing through. As you see there, like a lot of green and not much of the pink bit showing through. And I think that creates, it just looked really nice. Next, I'm going to just go through my box and start actually building up my layout. So as I said, I wanted to have a cluster to that top left side where I've sprayed the ink, and another cluster here to the side. This layout is actually for my career album. So it is the title page for my album, and it's actually the last page that I've done for the album. So this album is now complete. Does the happy dance. Yep, doing the happy dance. I've finished my career album. So this is definitely the last layout process video that I've got left as well. So no more career process videos, which is a little bit sad. But end of the era, but I'm going to be moving on now. If you haven't seen any of my other career process videos, do check out the rest of them in my channel. I've got quite a few. So while I was just blabbing on then, I started to, instead of using my paintbrush to ink the edges, I experimented with using just a makeup sponge that I got really cheap at one of those cheap stores, and that effect works really well as well. I think it gives a more even sort of look, whereas the paintbrush you can go really thick and then really thin with maybe a little less control, whereas the sponge you have a little bit more control to set your thickness, and I think it's easier to give a more even spread. So that's what I like about that. So I'm just playing around with the placement of a whole heap of scraps, trying to make something look good. And I'm just picking out ones that have similar sort of colors to what's already on my page. A lot of the time I like to scrap by color, so a lot of my embellishments and everything are stored by color because I just sort of find that the easiest way. Now I'm trying to stick everything down, and this took forever because everything kept on moving, and there were such tiny pieces that it was just a giant pain in the anus. So I used my wet glue to stick it down because I thought it would be the easiest way. I'm not sure, but it got there in the end. And I also have this other little cluster that I'm doing up the top there, and I really don't want to cover too much of my my hearts that I've got there, so they go slightly under the hearts. I'm just using my sponge again to add the inked edges to it, and I really love this look. You could of course go subtle and choose a similar color to your paper, but I chose to ink the pink pages with the green misting spray. Now I decided that I really wanted some of these hearts to pop a bit more. I think, as I said before, upon reflection, I really wish that I'd added some colour to my molding paste so that they would have more of a negative look to it, like a negative stencil. And I think if I was to do it again, I would use my my Mint Heidi Swap Color Shine and just mix that in with my molding paste so that it would sort of, you know, half blend in with the background, the green background. I think that would look lovely. So that's what I'm going to try next in the future. So I've added my letter stickers now, just to say Korea 2010, just as my title. And I'm adding dimensional magic there to make them pop a little bit more. I find that dimensional magic on your flat letter stickers just adds that little bit of pop to them so that they look amazing on the page. I needed something in that little section to sort of bridge it all together, and I needed to break up the like really angular feeling, so a doily was perfect for that area. I used one of my pink freckled fawn ones, and then I used a bit of the ink on my sponge just to dirty it up a bit because it looked way too clean for this sort of dirty mixed media page. Somehow I always think of washi tape as an afterthought, and so I'm left struggling trying to poke it behind layers, and sometimes I'm successful in getting it nice and straight and other times not so much, but I put a little bit up in that top section just to tie it in with this bottom section, and I really didn't like the look of it there on that side. It just felt too green, so I looked in my stash and got out a pink colour to put on the left hand side, and that sort of balanced out the colours a bit better, I felt. And as you can see, I just cannot get that damn thing straight, so I pull it off a couple of times and stick it back down. Now I am going to now look through like my little die cuts and things like that and try and start adding some dimension to this page. So I've got like a little love heart paper clip there that I stick on the side. Another piece of washi tape, the colours just match perfectly, so I just wanted to put a dash of that on the page somewhere. And I also pull out some like label stickers and things like that. I stick down a little sticker there. I can't quite read what it says here on my little screen, but I think it was something about being an adventure. And I cut out this camera and put it there. I think the colours work really well there. I decide not to use those label stickers or that little vellum arrow, but instead I use my letter stickers to write out got mud, and I wish they had like a little a question mark because it sort of reminds me of the got milk thing, and the reference to mud is because we went to the Boreang Mud Festival, which was amazing, and I sort of wanted to say in this first photo, the top photo, we thought we were muddy, but no, we got muddier. And the bottom photo doesn't even show how much muddier we got. That was like step 2 of mud. You got mud everywhere. It was so much fun. I add in some of my enamel dots just to give it a bit more pop. And that's pretty much where I leave it off. Oh yeah, I add in some of my stickles, some glitter in those hearts that I've outlined. And I also, off camera, I forgot to record it, but I ended up adding an outline to the whole page and also to my photos, and that helps tie it all in together. You'll see that in the photos. So here is a bit of a close-up of everything, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. So this video was about misting 3 ways, and my 3 ideas were to use my misting spray as the negative of a stencil. The second one was to use, it's splattering, but use 2 different colors. And the third one was to use it as like an ink to ink the edges of your layers. So I hope you got something out of this video. Do let me know what you think in the comments below, and feel free to share any experiments you've done with your misting sprays. I'd love to see. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!